We're starting right now, going live to the Zohar Mamdani inauguration now.
Moved by the privilege of taking this sacred oath, humbled by the faith that you have placed in me, and honored to serve as either your 111th or 112th mayor of New York City. But I do not stand alone. I stand alongside you, the tens of thousands of you gathered here in Lower Manhattan, warmed against the January chill by the resurgent flame of hope. I stand alongside countless more New Yorkers watching from cramped kitchens in Flushing and barbershops in East New York, from cell phones propped against the dashboards of parked taxi cabs at LaGuardia, from hospitals in Mott Haven and libraries in El Barrio that have too long known only neglect. I stand alongside construction workers in steel-toed boots and halal cart vendors whose knees ache from working all day. I stand alongside neighbors who carry a plate of food to the elderly couple down the hall, those in a rush who still lift strangers' strollers up subway stairs, and every person who makes the choice day after day, even when it feels impossible, to call our city home. I stand alongside over 1 million New Yorkers who voted for this day nearly 2 months ago. And I stand just as resolutely alongside those who did not. I know there are some who view this administration with distrust or disdain, or who see politics as permanently broken. And while only action can change minds, I promise you this: if you are a New Yorker, I am your mayor. Regardless of whether we agree, I will protect you, celebrate with you, mourn alongside you, and never, not for a second, hide from you. I thank the labor and movement leaders here today, the activists and the elected officials who will return to fighting for New Yorkers the second this ceremony concludes, and the performers who have gifted us with their talent. Thank you to Governor Hochul. Thank you as well to Mayor Adams. Dorothy's son, a son of Brownsville who rose from washing dishes to the highest position in our city, for being here as well. He and I have had our share of disagreements,
we're live. We're
but I will
blasting off,
always
by the
be
way.
touched that he chose me as the mayoral candidate that he would most want to be trapped with on an elevator. Thank you to the two titans who, as an assembly member, I've had the privilege of being represented by in Congress, Nidia Velázquez, and our incredible opening speaker, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh, look at that. Chuck Schumer's there.
You have paved the way for this moment.
Wow.
Thank you to the man whose leadership I seek most to emulate, who I am so grateful to be sworn in by today, Senator Bernie Sanders. Thank you to my teams, from the assembly to the campaign to the transition, and now the team I am so excited to lead from City Hall. Thank you to my parents, Mama and Baba.
Oh my God,
for raising me,
those hats are so swag.
For teaching me how to be in this world, and for having brought me to this city.
Those hats are so swag, bro.
Thank you to my family, from Kampala to Delhi. And thank you to my wife, Rama. For being my best friend.
Bro, I swear to God, I'm cold just watching them from here. It's 62 degrees in California this morning, and it's kind of cold, but I'm literally freezing just watching. I have chills watching them.
A moment like this comes rarely. Seldom do we hold such an opportunity to transform and
27
reinvent.
Degrees, that's disgusting.
Rarer still is it the people themselves whose hands are the ones upon the levers of change. And yet we know that too often in our past, moments of great possibility have been promptly surrendered to small imagination and smaller ambition. What was promised was never pursued. What could have changed remained the same. For the New Yorkers most eager to see our city remade, the weight has only grown heavier. The weight has only grown longer. In writing this address, I have been told that this is the occasion to reset expectations, that I should use this opportunity to encourage the people of New York to ask for little and expect even less. I will do no such thing. The only expectation I seek to reset is that of small expectations. Beginning today, we will govern expansively and audaciously. We may not always succeed, but never will we be accused of lacking the courage to try. To those who insist that the era of big government is over, hear me when I say this. No longer will City Hall hesitate to use its power to improve New Yorkers' lives. For too long, we have turned to the private sector for greatness while accepting mediocrity from those who serve the public. I cannot blame anyone who has come to question the role of government, whose faith in democracy has been eroded by decades of apathy. We will restore that trust by walking a different path. One where government is no longer solely the final recourse for those struggling. One where excellence is no longer the exception. We expect greatness from the cooks wielding 1,000 spices.
Yeah, we will
from
arrest
those who
Satan Yahoo when he steps foot inside of. We will make a show of it. A trial will be facilitated on Central Park for all the world's eyes to see.
In a city where the mere names of our streets are associated with the innovation of the industries that call them home, we will make the word City Hall synonymous with both resolve and results. As we embark upon this work, let us advance a new question, a new answer to the question asked of every generation. Who does New York belong to? For much of our history, the response from City Hall has been simple. It belongs only to the wealthy and well-connected, those who never strain to capture the attention of those in power. Working people have reckoned with the consequences. Crowded classrooms and public housing developments where the elevators sit out of orders. Roads littered with potholes and buses that arrive half an hour late, if at all. Wages that do not rise and corporations that rip off consumers and employees alike. And still, there have been brief, fleeting moments where the equation changed. 12 years ago, Bill de Blasio stood where I stand now as he promised to put an end to economic and social inequalities that divided our city into two. In 1990, David Dinkins swore the same oath I swore today.
As friend of the show, Bill de Blasio,
vowing to celebrate the gorgeous mosaic that is New York,
who I know very,
where every one of us is
very well
deserving
now
of a decent life. And nearly 6 decades before him, Fiorella LaGuardia took office with the goal of building a city that was far greater and more beautiful for the hungry and the poor. Some of these mayors achieved more success than others, but they were unified by a shared belief that New York could belong to more than just a privileged few.
Isn't that Philip DeFranco? Yeah, Bill de Blasio, also known as Philip DeFranco.
Our subways and rake our parks.
If anything, Bill de Blasio looks more like Michael from Pennsylvania than anyone else.
Picanha and pastrami on rye. And they know that this belief could be made true if only government dared to work hardest for those who work hardest. Over the years to come, my administration will resurrect that legacy.
Quiet and listen when a visionary's talking, chatters. Okay, cool it with the glaze,
and
okay?
abundance. Where government looks and lives like the people it represents.
He doesn't sound
never
mayoral.
flinches
He
in the
sounds
fight
like
against
an
corporate
actual.
greed,
He sounds
and
like
refuses
a
to
politician
cower
from a bygone
challenges
era.
that others have deemed
how
too
many
complicated.
politicians do you actually hear in the United States of America
provide our own answer to that age-old question.
Convincingly
Who
talk
does
in an
New York
inspirational
belong to?
tone and have like a
my
North
friends,
Star
we
that they
look
can
to
present,
Madiba
that they
and the
can
South
point to?
African Freedom
Not
Charter.
many, right?
New York belongs to all who live in it. Together, we will tell a new story of our city.
Yeah, it's called having an eye bag
This
when
will
you're
not be a
34
tale of
years
one
old and
city
you stayed
governed
up all night
only
because you
by
got
the
sworn
1%,
in.
nor will it be a tale of two cities, the rich versus the poor. It will be a tale of 8.5 million cities, each of them a New Yorker with hopes and fears, each a universe, each of them woven together. The authors of this story will speak Pashto and Mandarin, Yiddish and Creole. They will pray in mosques, at shul, at church, at gurudwaras and mandirs and temples. And many will not pray at all. They will be Russian Jewish immigrants in Brighton Beach, Italians in Rossville, and Irish families in Woodhaven, many of whom came here with nothing but a dream of a better life, a dream which has withered away. They will be young people in cramped Marble Hill apartments where the walls shake when the subway passes. They will be black homeowners in St. Albans, whose homes represent a physical testament to triumph over decades of lesser paid labor and redlining. They will be Palestinian New Yorkers in Bay Ridge, who will no longer have to contend with a politics that speaks of universalism and then makes them the exception. Few of these 8.5 million will fit into neat and easy boxes. Some will be voters from Hillside Avenue or Fordham Road who supported President Trump a year before they voted for me, tired of being failed by their party's establishment. The majority will not use the language that we often expect from those who wield influence. I welcome the change. For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask agendas of cruelty. Many of these people have been betrayed by the
Sharia law,
established order.
it's pretty poggers. Yeah,
but in
it's
our
Sharia law.
administration, their needs will be met. Their hopes and dreams and interests will be reflected transparently in government. They will shape our future. And if for too long these communities have existed as distinct from one another, we will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it. Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from, the words that most define us are the two we all share: New Yorkers. And it will be New Yorkers who reform a long broken property tax system. New Yorkers who will create a new Department of Community Safety that will tackle the mental health
When do all the
crisis
cops
and let
resign
the
right
police
now?
focus on the
Mass
job
resignation.
they signed up to do.
If you notice, like,
New Yorkers who will take on the
if
bad
you've been
landlords who
tracking the
mistreat their
flights,
tenants,
everyone,
and free small business owners from the
yesterday,
shackles of
last
bloated
night, everyone
bureaucracy.
gathered
proud to
at
be one of those
Jewish
New
community
Yorkers.
centers, Hillel's,
When
synagogues,
we won the primary
and they all got,
last
they went to
June, there were
Teterboro
many who said
Airport
these
and flew out,
aspirations and those who held
escaping.
them
There's a mass
had
exodus
come out
happening
of
in New York
nowhere.
right now. They're all flying to Florida.
Yet one man's nowhere is another
Cops
man's somewhere.
and every Jewish person is flying,
This
and every
movement
billionaire
came
as
out
well.
of 8.5 million somewheres. Taxi cab depots.
If you were to
and
ask people, that's
Amazon
what they were saying,
warehouses,
you know, was going to happen. It's
DSA
just strange.
meetings
It
and
doesn't seem
curbside
like it,
domino
but
games. The powers that be had looked away from these places for quite some time,
Yeah,
if
woke
they'd known
Sharia.
about them at all. So they dismissed them as nowhere. But in our city, where every corner of these 5 boroughs holds power, there is no nowhere, and there is no no one. There is only New York, and there are only New Yorkers. 8.5 million New Yorkers will speak this new era into existence. It will be loud. It will be different. It will feel like the New York
as a
we
response
love.
to socialism, Miami will replace New York City as the finance capital, and Austin will replace
No
San Francisco as
matter
the tech
how
capital.
long you have called this city home, that love has shaped your life. I know that it has shaped mine. This is the city where I set land speed records on my Razor scooter at the age of 12. Quickest 4 blocks of my life. The city where I ate powdered donuts at halftimes during AYSO soccer games and realized I probably was not going to be going pro. The city where I devoured 2 big slices at Coronet's Pizza, played cricket with my friends at Ferry Point Park, and took the 1 train to the BX10 only to still show up late to Bronx Science.
Dude, people love...
The city where I have gone on
New Yorkers love talking about how sick New York is. They love it.
Sat claustrophobic
This
on a
is the
stalled
part.
train
This is the
just
part of the
after
convo
Atlantic
where it's
Avenue,
like,
and waited
this is
in
the part of the
quiet
convo
terror
where I'm
for
just
my
like,
father
kind
to
of
emerge from 26
like, I
Federal
get it.
Plaza.
It's sick, man. It's a cool city. Like,
The
calm
city
down.
where I took a beautiful woman named Rama
Like, calm down, bro. We get
to
it. It's
McCarran
dope.
Park
okay.
on our first
look
date
at me. We have
and
working
swore
public
a different
transit
oath
here.
to become an American citizen on Pearl Street, to live in New York,
I am
to
jealous.
love New York.
I am jealous
Is to
because
know
in
that
LA
we are
you
the
don't
stewards
have
of something
stories like
without
this. You're like,
equal
oh,
in
this
our
is the
world.
city that I grew up in, where
Where
I
else
drove a lot.
Can you hear
I
the
drove on
sound
the
of
10.
steel
I
pan?
drove on the
Savor
405.
the smell of sancocho.
I drove on Sunset Boulevard.
And pay
This is the city where I
$9 for
drove,
coffee on
and
the
I
same
drove, and I
block.
sat in my car, and I molded.
Where else could a Muslim kid like me grow up eating bagels and lox every Sunday? That love will be our guide as we pursue our agenda. Here, where the language of the New Deal was born, we will return the vast resources of this city to the workers who call it home. Not only will we make it possible for every New Yorker to afford a life they love once again, we will overcome the isolation that too many feel and connect the people of this city to one another. The cost of childcare will no longer discourage young adults from starting a family, because we will deliver
He ain't
universal
doing
child
shit.
for the many
Bro,
by
let
taxing
us
the wealthiest
dream, okay?
few.
Let him yap. Let him yap about what he's gonna say he's gonna
Those
do.
in rent-stabilized homes will
Just
no
wait.
longer dread the latest rent hike, because we will freeze the rent.
Greeks are better 61. Thank you
Getting on
for
a bus
lying
without
in your
worrying about a
username, but
fare
also
hike,
giving
or
me
whether
5
you'll be
give the
able
subs. Spiker
to
Brackets
get
and
to your
service, ladies and
destination
gentlemen.
on time will no longer be deemed
Have
a
you
small
spoken to Zoran
miracle,
since the election?
because we will
Yes,
make
I
those
spoke
buses
to, I speak
fast
to him frequently,
and free.
including last night.
These policies are not simply about the costs we make free, but the lives we fill with freedom. For too long in our city, freedom has belonged only to those who can afford to buy it. Our city hall will change that. These promises carried our movement to City Hall, and they will carry us from the rallying cries of a campaign to the realities of a new era in politics. 2 Sundays ago, as snow softly fell, I spent 12 hours at the Museum of the Moving Image in Astoria.
He's such a
Listen to New
art
Yorkers
kid.
from every borough as they told me about the city that is theirs. We discussed construction hours on the Van Wyck Expressway and EBT eligibility, affordable housing
Remember
for
when you said
artists
you'd
and
moved to New
ice
York and Zoran
raids.
got elected? Yeah, okay.
spoke to a man
Let's be
named
real.
TJ
When I
who
said
said
that,
that one day
it was
a
a
few
long
years
shot,
ago,
okay?
His
Yes,
heart broke as he
yes, it was a
realized
long shot,
that he would never
and I
get
thought it
ahead
would
here,
get people
no matter
excited.
how hard he worked.
And seemingly there were plenty of people in
spoke
my
to a
community that were
Pakistani
excited
auntie
regardless of
named
whether or not
Samira,
I would move to New York City.
who told me that
And
this
perhaps they got a
movement
little
had
too
fostered
excited.
something too
Y'all
rare.
shouldn't have knocked on as many doors as you knocked on. I just didn't think that it would actually happen, okay? Well, I did. I wished for it. But sometimes you say things. Sometimes you say things, words come out of your mouth. You say, oh, yeah, I'll move to New York if Zoran wins. Okay, well, you know.
Each person sitting across from me, it was the shared recognition that this moment demands a new politics and a new approach to power. We will deliver nothing less as we work each day to make this city belong to more of its people than it did the day before. Here is what I want you to expect from the administration that this morning moved into the building
I
behind
know Trump's
me.
held this shit. We're going to cover it. Don't worry. Which is not
We will
surprising at all.
transform the culture of City Hall from one of no to one of how.
It's
We
like
will
when I
answer
lie
to
about
all New
gaming.
Yorkers, not to any billionaire or oligarch who thinks they can buy our democracy.
Hey. Look at that. Friend
We
of the
will
show.
govern without shame and insecurity.
Adam's there too.
Making no apology for
Adam
what
is
we
also there.
believe.
I don't know where he is. I think he's like
I
sitting
was
across
elected as a
somewhere from
democratic
Bernard
socialist,
because he
and I will
posted a photo,
govern as
but
a democratic
he
socialist.
thought I was going as well. He texted me last night. He's like, or this morning, he's like, are you going to the inauguration? I'm like, no, I'm in Los Angeles.
I will not abandon my
Adam's the one honking the horn, I think. He's at the inauguration honking the horn because he's defending, he's combating anti-Semitism.
System which gives so much to so few and denies so many people the basic necessities of life. We will strive each day to ensure that no New Yorker is priced out of any one of those basic necessities. And throughout it all, we will, in the words of Jason Terrence Phillips, better known as Jadakiss or J to the moi, be outside. Because this is a government of New York, by New York, and for New York.
It's just crazy because it's like New Yorkers have this like New Yorker supremacy ass attitude, but low key they kind of can have that because it's like one of the only functional cities. And even then, it's in a state of disrepair, quite in many respects. But you know, in comparison to the rest of the goddamn country,
I ask you to stand with us now and every day that follows. City Hall will not be able to deliver on our own. And while we will encourage New Yorkers to demand more from those with the great privilege of serving them, we will encourage you to
serious
demand
question,
more
why is the crowd
of
so small?
well.
Insiders? I don't know. I think there's a separate place. The movement we began
over a year ago did not end with our election. It will not end this afternoon. It lives on with every battle we will fight together. Every blizzard and flood we withstand together. Every moment of fiscal challenge we overcome with ambition, not austerity, together. Every way we pursue change in working people's interests rather than at their expense, together. No longer will we treat victory as an invitation to turn off the news. From today onwards, we will understand victory very simply. Something with the power to transform lives, and something that demands effort from each of us every single day. What we achieve together will reach across the 5 boroughs, and it will resonate far beyond. There are many who will be watching. They want to know if the left can govern. They want to know if the struggles that afflict them can be solved. They want to know if it is right to hope again. So standing together with the wind of purpose at our backs, we will do something that New Yorkers do better than anyone else. We will set an example for the world. If what Sinatra said is true, let us prove that anyone can make it in New York and anywhere else too. Let us prove that when a city belongs to the people, there is no need too small to be met, no person too sick to be made healthy, no one too alone to feel like New York is their home. The work continues. The work endures. The work, my friends, has only just begun. Thank you.
All right, you should move there when government housing or rent stabilized apartments get built or get canceled. Okay, listen. Do I think that this brings about a socialist revolution in the country or something like that? No. Do I have a decent amount of confidence that Zohran Mamdani will hopefully be able to achieve some of his agenda? I hope so. I hope he doesn't let all of us down. You know, a lot of people worked very hard to make sure that this happened, you know? And a lot of New Yorkers are looking to him now. But beyond that, there are also a lot of people that are like...
And here comes the confetti. Confetti cannon right behind the pressurizer here. Didn't see that one coming.
Well, hold on.
Quite a number of themes that he...
Sorry, I just got a text message. What I was going to say is like, I think this is going to be modest, incremental expansions of already existing social safety nets, things like that. Hopefully it'll be successful. And there will be a lot of pushback, no matter how modest or how incremental. And there will also be a lot of criticism that comes from the left flank too, as is always the case, right? There will be a lot of people on the left flank that are going to say he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, all this stuff, or he promised so much more, he's not doing it. Look, ultimately, he has, he has a solid team around him. There's some people, obviously, that I'm not too fond of, and not like from his team, but I mean from his, new mayoral team. But outside of that, hopefully he'll be able to change certain things, to improve people's lives a little bit to the best of his ability from the position that he has, in spite of all of the pushback that will inevitably come. And not only that, but also he'll be an inspirational figure in the same way that Bernie was an inspirational figure for him. And I know that a lot of people on the left flank get mad about him constantly praising Bernie Sanders and propping up Bernie Sanders and assume that he's going to betray a lot of the other things that he said he was going to do, or betraying like his anti-Zionist activism and things of that nature. But I think you have to understand, if someone who is a lifelong anti-Zionist activist has also been inspired by Bernie Sanders and has positions that I would say are far more to the left and far more radical than Bernie Sanders on a lot of issues, then what makes you think that there won't be others that are equally inspired by Zohran Mamdani and will then run for office and win on positions that are far more radical than Zohran Mamdani's in terms of being on the left? This is how things work. This is why I always say change takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And in many instances, you have to work within the confines of what is possible. That's just the reality. And a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people want instant gratification. Or let me say it a different way. It's not necessarily even instant gratification, because a lot of people, I think, understand the severity of the violence and the severity of structural violence of poverty, the severity of the structural violence of genocide, or not structural violence, but the direct violence of genocide. And because time is running out when it comes to the imminent ecological collapse due to climate change, people want change immediately. People demand change immediately, and it's understandable. But no matter what our needs are, no matter what the situation demands, the reality of the matter is things are going to always move, especially in a country like the United States of America that is so unimaginably right-wing, so unimaginably reactionary, that things are going to move very slow. The very fact that we have people like Zohran Mamdani who are seen as positive figures in American politics, I mean, this is unheard of. This is unheard of and unimaginable even in like 2016. 34-year-old Muslim socialist guy who's brown, who's anti-Israel. Dog, you elevated a fucking mayor, literally never let anyone take it away from you. I know you're humble, but this was a dub you genuinely helped achieve, not just with the platform, but with all the people you're motivated enough to help this campaign. No, I mean, it's nothing I do is as consequential as what the people will end up doing. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm just lucky enough that I was able to play some kind of a role in this. Ultimately, this is a great moment. And hopefully it will be a really good moment for the future of the left in this country, no matter what people say, no matter how skeptical people are. The reason why I say that is because we don't get a lot of W's, man. You just got to take them. You got to take them where you can. Okay. You got to take it where you can. You got to take it in stride. But it is yet another testament that you have to just like keep pushing, no matter what people say. Ultimately though, like I said, you never know where American society will inevitably lead towards. You don't know where we'll be at 5 years down the line. So you have to keep organizing nonstop, because, when the opportunity comes, it's good to have a solid movement. It's good to have at least less ideological antagonism towards socialism. You know what I mean? And I think it's little by little that we are all able to put a dent in this concept. But you have to remember, These things take time. I don't want people to assume that he's going to like do broad sweeping changes day one, or even by the end of his mayoral tenure, whenever that may be. But I will say this much. I think he also, regardless of some of the criticisms that I've had with what he's done in internal New York City DSA politics, I think the reason why he's moving in the way that he's moving is because he understands the responsibility that he has as far as being like a movement builder, as far as being like a figure that people will point to. Like, he recognizes that it's not just like any other mayor. You know what I mean? Like when Eric Adams was elected, he didn't have an entire future of a movement that people would point to. Nobody was looking to Eric Adams to be like, well, this is what it's going to look like for the future of like the Democratic Party politics. Well, I guess Nate Silver was, but he was stupid, right? Nate Silver was saying that, and a lot of people in mainstream media were saying that, but very quickly they just kind of dropped it because liberalism is hegemonic, and there are a million other people that you can point to. The well is deep. The bench is deep for liberals that you can point to. Whereas for socialists, democratic socialists in general, or socialists of any variety, there aren't that many people in positions of power. So there's a lot of scrutiny on what they do, and basically what they end up accomplishing will be proof for many other people. Even his electoral victory, in my opinion, dramatically changed the trajectory of American politics, and you will see this in the upcoming year. I'll talk about my predictions in a little bit, but you will see a lot more Zoran-style campaigning. It's already started. Some will be indecent, and some will be legit. Fox obviously did some commentary since Zoran Mamdani was sworn into office. Let's take a look at how they're freaking out.
As the clock struck midnight, Democratic socialist Zoran Mamdani was officially sworn in as mayor of America's largest city, where he plans to make his anti-capitalist agenda a reality. Our next guest warns those ideas are nothing new and have failed many times. So what does it mean for America?
Does even Mamdani know his ideas won't work? Allegedly savvy media practitioner hands his critics an irresistible metaphor. Awesome. Don't you know socialism doesn't work? Because we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we destroy whatever you're trying to achieve. Because God forbid we let anybody get the wrong idea that even a little bit of social democracy and the government doing things that are good for the working class could potentially create an environment of hope for a better future. And we can't have that happen, because then all of these people are going to assume that they can demand more from their elected representatives, and more usually will mean things that harm the bottom line of capital owners and corporations. Obviously, we can't do any of that. So we're going to do everything we can to slap it down. They do know the most successful mayor in New York City's history was a socialist, right? You think they care? It's like, it's the same principle behind like hailing FDR as a hero, or who wasn't a socialist, obviously, but the New Deal, or recognizing the benefits of the New Deal in this day and age, while simultaneously pushing back against anything that resembles a modern version of said New Deal. It's ridiculous.
Midterms in 2026. Fox News contributor James Freeman joins us now. James, you got this piece out, and you know, you're right. Well, it's eloquent, but tell me really what the point is here for Zoran Mamdani. Like, you know, he goes down to the subway station. Is he trying to say that he's bringing New York back to what it used to be, or turning it into something new?
What is this red flag pin? Is this an American Chinese flag pin? What's going on here? I can't tell. In my head canon, I'm assuming it's a Chinese flag.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. I think he's trying to say he's going to somehow return public transit to its former glory and generally expand city services.
Is the U.S. Marine flag? Okay, in my mind, it's the Chinese flag.
The metaphor he's just created is really something. You see him there underground. This is a subway station that has been abandoned for the last 80 years. It was one of the original subway stations, and then when they brought in new cars, there was a dangerous gap, so they could.
I wonder if there's any symbolism associated with this, and perhaps like they are refusing to recognize that and instead making commentary over it.
No longer use this platform and closed it down in 1945. So dated, obsolete dark, dingy is kind of a nice description of socialism and the misery it's caused over the last century. Let's hope, let's hope this isn't some kind of sick sense of humor for him, but maybe it's kind of a way of lowering expectations. But they should be very low. These are policies he's promised that have failed all over the world and in New York City as well. We've had some form of rent control for roughly a century. We know this doesn't work, and I think the hope for those of us in this city is that the institutional restraints on him slow him down a bit, that he maybe has a change of heart, and I'd hope your viewers around the country maybe resist laughing at all of our self-inflicted misery.
There's really two angles when it comes to Zoran Mamdani that we can look at. One of them is his economic.
The saddest state of affairs is that nothing that Zoran Mamdani is presenting or presented as a part of his agenda is socialist. Not even a little bit. But these guys say everything is socialist. They say Nancy Pelosi is socialist. They say social democracy is socialist. None of it matters. Just do right by your voters. The expansions that he is advocating for, that he ran on, that he won on, are incredibly modest, incredibly incremental reforms in the positive direction. And yet, these guys lose their minds over it. And part of that, a big part of that is obviously like anti-socialist propaganda, no matter what, right? But the reason why that propaganda sticks is because people have been conditioned against this sort of thing pretty aggressively. And that's why I always say you have to organize around this. You have to recognize this when you're organizing. You have to recognize this when you're doing advocacy. The unfortunate reality is that the average American has the brain of a child when it comes, a very angry child when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Economic policies. We just showed you a full screen of those. We talk about freezing the rent, city-run grocery stores, social workers to replace police, free buses. Some of these I don't think will ever even get off the ground. Some of them are radical ideas, and some of them will probably be entertained and implemented in some ways. Those are his economic policies. On the other side is.
Do you think this will water down expectations and popular understanding of what socialism is? No. I think if it's all these incremental gains are successful, it's ultimately a good thing because people will go, oh, that's great. I want that. I guess I should vote for more people who are self-identifying socialists. It's good. It's a good thing. It's the same with Bernie. A lot of people in the United States of America take Bernie Sanders' position for granted, right? Bernie Sanders, for the most part, has advocated for, again, a similar thing that Zoran is advocating for here, an expansion of existing social safety nets. Even Medicare for all, it's in the name. Medicare is socialized health care. Unfortunately, right now, it's only for 65 plus. Medicare for all would expand that program and allow every American to sign on it, have a single payer system. That exists in social democracies. It's technically not advocacy for seizing the means of production or anything like that. Right? That exists in other social democracies. It's understandable because one of the first things that you learn in your micro and macroeconomic principles class is the concept of inelastic demand goods. So even classical economics understands that healthcare is an inelastic demand good. And therefore, you have to actually either heavily regulate the supply or you have to completely control it because otherwise, if you don't do that, companies, private enterprise that is only interested in increasing profits will consistently increase the price point of said good or service because they know if you don't have healthcare, you die. Yeah, with inelastic demand, the concept of supply and demand does not work. It's that simple. And yet here in the United States of America, all these brilliant economists refuse to reckon with that. I wonder why. Perhaps it's because they're insincere. It's the first thing you learn in your economics class. Literally one of the first things you learn. Isn't that crazy? And yet all of these people, even liberals, so-called brilliant economists, refuse to bring it up in this conversation. Very strange.
It's the people he's putting in his cabinet. He just appointed, I think, his chief counsel, someone who felt compelled and called to come defend the al-Qaeda attackers that were involved in 9/11. So, when you take those two angles, what do you have here?
Yeah, there are some restraints.
What's your take on people further the left and Dem socks calling him a social fascist? I'm constantly telling my friends that we aren't even at this point where we have organized socialist movements to fuck over and their retorts are usually, well, siphons political potential socialists to reformist positions. Yeah, okay. So what's their argument? I mean, I hear it all the time. I hear it in this community all the time as well. What's your argument? Are you actually, where is the potential socialist that you are moving away from reformist positions? Wait, they're talking about me? No, they're not talking about me. They're just talking about 9/11. Like, see, that's what I mean. You act as though you are already fomenting revolutionary socialist values amongst a labor class that is completely oblivious to their class position. So where is your propaganda? Where is your movement? Where is your movement? If the people that you have in mind are just like willing and they're ready and they're excited at the prospect of a violent revolution, there needs to be some organization around it, no? Like there needs to be some organizing around it. The idea that all Americans are just Marxist-Leninists in weight, but progressives siphon them away is very silly, but persistent one on the left. Exactly. It's just like, I don't even necessarily disagree with this concept either, as far as like, I always say this, like most people, if you don't use the term socialism, will agree with socialism. Most people, if you don't tell them that you're educating them on class consciousness or their class position in society, will understand it if you don't use certain keywords. Some of the phase boys were talking to Toby from the Sidemen, and people were praising Toby for controlling their own wage and what they want to do. Exactly. Great point, Chatter. I didn't know that the Sidemen had a cooperative formation. Okay, they had a cooperative ownership structure. I only found that out because Toby from the Sidemen, for those of you who don't know, is an incredibly popular, if not the most popular group of content creators in the UK. Their most popular content creator from the Sidemen is KSI, for those of you who don't know. And Sidemen, when they first started as a cooperative, basically. They're the biggest YouTubers in the UK by far, and they have a cooperative structure where they have one pool of money, and they have equal say and equal pay over the distribution of resources and the revenue generation strategies, all that stuff. And that's amazing. But of course, when you describe it as like, oh, this is a cooperative corporation, this is socialist, this is like, you know, securing the means of production or whatever, right? People go, ugh, gross, I don't want that. That's scary, that's weird, that's bad, that's wrong. But when you just say like, nah, we're friends and we started this business together and we wanted to make sure that like we look out for one another, right? Whereas your co-op, Hazan, I literally own and operate a cooperative corporation. What the is wrong with you? Fear and is a cooperative. And I wanted to have a conversation with the boys that left Phase about potentially restarting their whatever enterprise they start as a cooperative. But obviously me having that conversation as as someone who is like advocating for cooperatives is going to be met with tremendous anger and resentment, and people will push back on it, and it will actually lead them away from even thinking about it sincerely. Whereas when you have a successful YouTuber, like one of the Sidemen being like, oh yeah, we have a cooperative structure without actually saying those words, much more effective. Revisiting election night. This is a 5-minute video on election night, and you already watched my election night stream, so you know the fears that I had. And it's really interesting seeing the Zohran Mamdani team, including Zohran Mamdani himself, experience the exact same style of fears, regardless of what the numbers look like, up until the very last moment where it was official. Maybe it'll help you understand why I was so fucking scared personally.
Not too bad exit polls. But who knows? It's all secondhand.
Oh my God, just one thing can set into this spiral. What's going on? This is a bad exit poll.
Okay. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas and Ethiopian aunties.
He's the one who wrote the go to speech.
Is it so different with you as the
It's way better. I think it's 70%. This victory is for all of them, and it's for all of you.
I hope so.
The more than 100,000 volunteers who built this campaign into an unstoppable force.
Oh my God.
Because of you, we will make this city.
Oh God, I
I feel like I'm gonna die.
I just said that.
I said, you said I'm gonna die. I said, I feel like I'm gonna die.
To one up my dying?
Yeah.
I have 4 words for you. Anaminkum. Oh.
Yeah.
And then we lost.
Don't say that. Stop
We've been
horrible.
sitting here.
Bad vibes.
Exit polls. Oh man.
That's a good sign. I thought she was going to lose that.
1 minute.
Okay, guys.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're up 11. Up 11, but it's not enough. Still like 33% of the way through. Maybe like 35%. But it's 50-41.
People are calling, everyone's calling.
I would not call it.
This room is really filling up with supporters now. They are anxious, anticipating hearing from Mamdani tonight.
It's 8 points now. I don't.
8 points now?
I'm not. Don't worry yet.
And are you looking at anything on Twitter right now? Cuomo just cracked 40.
I don't want to hear any of this.
The story for tonight is actually that the Socialist Party is taking over the Democratic.
Wait, I'm 99%. Sure, I saw you in the crowd. How could you have? I got kicked out. I thought, according to Reddit, I got kicked out. I wasn't there.
New votes coming in mayor's race.
Oh, 52.1. Oh, that's right. That's in Manhattan only. Oh. Human mind is a wild thing.
Just 60% in, and it's still holding. Brooklyn's still the lowest. Staten Island's now at 83%, and you held totally even there.
Like,
the 8% is not.
It's not super inspiring.
Why doesn't this feel better?
Yeah, nothing's been called yet.
Yeah. You got anything more for us?
It was even just 4 years.
MSNBC just called the race for us.
Zoran Mamdani, the state assemblyman from Queens, who ran an insurgent campaign that absolutely blindsided the Democratic establishment, will be the next mayor of New York City.
Woo! What? Is it official? Yeah. It doesn't get any more official than this. Wow. Oh my God.
Take that, exit polls.
Congratulations, my dear friend.
Oh, this is insane.
You should use it.
Go.
Guys, I don't know.
How come he wasn't watching your stream? Yeah, I agree. That's kind of fucked up. These guys are fake, bro. They're fake. Not even watching the Twitch stream a little bit. I'm in the same building. I'm downstairs. It's messed up. Not a real one. Not a real friend.
Did you really think at any point you were gonna lose?
Yes! Yes!
Did you think you would? Yeah. See, did you think they asked her like? They asked him, did you think you were gonna lose at any point? He says yes, 100%. Stuff like this doesn't happen. Okay.
Senator.
Zoran Mamdani was elected mayor of New York City on Tuesday, capping a stunning ascent for the 34-year-old state lawmaker who is set to become the city's most liberal mayor in a generation.
Guys, we just crossed 1 million votes.
Wow. That's incredible.
The New Yorker Daily, the Mamdani era begins.
Wow.
We've won.
Yeah.
Still saying the most liberal. Zara is one of the best campaign people I've ever seen. I can't believe the DNC had her at one point. Yeah, she's great. She's dope. Morris Cass is the fucking guy, by the way. He's working on many more campaigns this cycle. Yeah, including Graham Partner. If Zoran a real one, his election documentary would be on Means TV instead of Netflix. Yeah, if I was a real one, I'd be streaming on Means TV instead of Netflix as well. You're right. This is just how it goes. Or not Netflix, Twitch.